So there's this guy, General Antonio Luna. If you're Filipino, you've probably heard of him at least once. And he was this, like, from what people would say, like he was this unstoppable war genius. Like if Napoleon was Filipino. And the movie General Luna, it was great, but it came with a lot of embellishment, like all war movies. He was a man that was so smart, so disciplined. It was like as if he could make the Philippine army into like the Avengers if we just listened to him. And it makes me wonder, was he actually like brilliant, or was he like the only guy in the revolution that basically like knew what a uniform was or how to properly like run an army? So, picture this if you will. It's the late 1890s. Spain, I mean, the Philippines just kicked Spain and SAS for after like 300 years of colonial rule. And now everyone's wondering like who's going to lead the army. So, just to like you have like a point of reference, the army is basically a bunch of guys with made up rifles, bolo knives and dreams. And I guess like Luna just showed up fresh out of Europe studying military science, and then he just took one good look at the army and thought like, wow, this isn't an army, it's a cosplay event. So here's the thing. um Antonio Luna wasn't born a genius. He was privileged and highly educated. Like he had a doctorate in pharmacy from Madrid, and he studied military science under a Belgian colonel, which was Gerard Lehman. He's also I mean, Gerard Lehman's the guy that defended Liege. I don't know I'm not pronouncing anything right, but he's the guy that defended that from the Germans during World War One. So he didn't learn from experience. He learned from actual professionals of the field. His so-called brilliance was, in reality, a product of access and education that most Filipinos of the time could only dream of. To his credit, General Luna wasn't completely useless because like he saw the so-called Philippine Army as more of a vibe than an actual institution. So he basically turned chaos into order. He enforced order. So he gave uniforms, drills, and discipline. He tried to turn chaos into something that resembles a fighting force. He even made the Luna line, which was basically a line of like fortifications from Pampanga to Tarlac. So it was inspired by European trench systems. He was really good to the point where he actually slowed down the American advance. That even U.S. General Arthur MacArthur, the father of Douglas MacArthur, reportedly acknowledged Luna's defensive brilliance in his dispatches. But again, these weren't uniquely Filipino tactics. These were borrowed wholesale from Europe. It was 19th century European military doctrine that kind of carried him. So Luna's army was basically Europe's group project. So he introduced modern training, reorganized logistics, and even established a military academy. So I guess what crashed was he had a zero tolerance for incompetence. He would berate officers, he'd call them corrupt and incompetent in a way that wasn't so subtle. He once arrested a cabinet member for insubordination and allegedly slapped soldiers who disobeyed. So one day, Luna gets summoned by Aguinaldo's men. He probably thought he was getting promoted, but instead he got killed. So many people, including me, believe that Aguinaldo orchestrated this. Wait, that's not the point, but he didn't die in battle. He died because his coworkers couldn't handle criticism. So, was he really brilliant? Yeah, kind of. He was smart, disciplined, and saw the bigger picture when seemingly not much people was able to see. He was a great member of a shoddy team, and call him a genius, call him an asshole, both are true. He was one of the few people that tried to make the Philippines fight like a real army. So if you are able to strip away the legend, his brilliance looks less like divine military genius and more like privilege and overdrive. He wasn't homegrown Sun Tzu. He was a European trained perfectionist trying to apply textbook tactics to a countryside army with no supplies, no unity, and no chill. He made farmers march like Prussians. His education gave him tools, but not the people skills or the political awareness to survive the chaos of the First Philippine Republic. In that light, Luna's story isn't about pure genius. It never was. It's about what happens when imported brilliance tries to outsmart a homegrown mess and ends up getting killed for it. I was about to post this, but I forgot to mention that he wasn't the only one swinging a sword. There were other people like Gregorio del Pilar, who was called the Boy General. He died heroically at Tirad Pass. And there was General Emilio Jacinto, who was the brains of the Katipunan. Um, General Miguel Malvar. There was I think a frigate. There was a frigate named after him. They were all brave and loyal, but none of them could match up to Luna's formal training or his obsession with military structure. He was privileged in a way. He was also arrogant and allergic to teamwork, but he was still objectively objectively the most capable military officer at the time. He fought with strategy, logistics, and spreadsheets. He was the kind of guy who could turn a bar fight into a battle plan. And in the end, his downfall wasn't by his lack of brilliance, but his lack of political awareness. I guess he was ahead of his time. He was fit and great for the army, but he was in a nation that still wasn't ready for him. All right, I think